So it's day 2. We're back working on this '06 Nissan Titan rear differential. We're going to take some parts out of the old differential, the used one that I got that turned out to be the correct gear ratio. Take the crown and pinion out of it and the flange out of it, put it in this truck. So there's a used locking differential out of that used assembly, used carrier. What a fun job to take that apart. And there's the used 14 tooth or 16 tooth. I gotta get confused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, that's 4714, not 4716. Well, we're gonna press that bearing off and reuse the new bearing and check the pinion shim. I'm going to use the flange off that differential as well. And you're going to use the open diff case out of this one. As far as I can tell, the differential cases are the same regardless of whether or not it's what ratio it is. So let's get going. So there's the carrier out of the used differential, as it's the locking one. I wonder if I have to pull this bearing off to get this crown gear off of here. Maybe not. I pressed the new pinion bearing off of the new pinion, then removed the shim and put the original shim in here, so this pinion is ready to go into the case. And we're going to reuse the original yoke so we don't have to buy a new yoke here. So there's the pinion seal ready to go in. Make sure it's the right seal with the lip. I put a little bit of Teflon lube or Teflon sealant on the inside and packed the garter spring area with grease so the spring doesn't pop off. Clean this surface area up with the emery cloth, and I put a little Teflon sealant inside the spline so the oil doesn't migrate down the spline past the nut. So I got the pinion holding flange that I bought just recently bolted to the pinion flange, and a power bar on one side and 3/4 inch drive ratchet and 1 5/16 socket on the other side. Got to make sure you don't go too far though. My impact gun won't turn this. It's like 400 foot-pounds, what my power bar does. Collapsing that spacer in there. Still got play up and down. Oh, and my trouble light just died. So to adjust the bearing preload, you tighten that collapsible spacer until you have between 15 and 33 inch-pounds of rotational torque. We're at about just under 7. So I have to tighten it some more and do it in little tiny bits, because if you go too far you'll have to back it off. But mind you, the spec is 15 to 33, so that gives you quite a bit to work with. So I got it about 25, and if you were using the original bearings, it's about 25. Feels nice and smooth. We'll take that flange off. Actually, we've got to leave that. No, we don't need that flange because we've got to adjust the side bearings preload as well. So here's my setup for removing the side bearings. We got a puller that I've had for years. insert. There's no shims underneath here. That's the snap-on puller I'm using. We'll clean up this housing, press the new bearings on, and put the crown gear on it. So there's the bearings pressed onto the case. Take a flat file, a clean flat file, and run it around the back surface of the ring gear. You notice this one spot here where there's a little dimple. There's a piece of metal stuck in between the crown gear and the carrier last time, and you don't want any metal particles in there to create any run out on the ring gear. So I've removed that one. Can't feel it, but it was there. So we're ready to put the ring gear on. Gonna put new bolts. Well, we got another snafu. Got no hydro. Power just went off. So I'm setting up the backlash on this thing. I got about 4 thou, but I have no preload adjustment on it. So I need to adjust this side bearing tighter to gain a little bit more backlash and torque the main caps here. But I've got no hydro, so I'm gonna go for lunch. See what happens with that. So the spec for the backlash is 5 to 7 thou, and the total bearing preload, including the pinion, is 27 to 42. I had about 20, and now I have roughly 40. $38, $40. So we're going to check, and I got 5 thou backlash, so we're going to check the tooth contact pattern and see what it looks like. So I think we got it pretty close here. Got 5 thou backlash. And we got a fairly decent pattern. It's a little bit high on the coast side. Let's see here. But these are used gears, so you can see the contact pattern is a little bit closer to the toe. But it's not under a load, so when it's under a load, it'll walk towards the heel. We're going to leave it at that for now. So there's the cover on, resealed, new bolts and new cover. The bearing cap bolts are 80 foot-pounds inside here. The axle flange bolts are 84 foot-pounds, or 84 or 86, double check your specs. I don't see any contact on the axles on here now, but it was contacting before. Yeah, so it looks good. We're going to let the silicone cure. We'll put some gear oil in it and put the wheels on.